elected as councillor in 2019, and I'm the first independent to be elected in a couple of decades. And the reason that I stood was because the councillors that we have for the area where I live in Saltdean, and I represent from Saltdean to Sussex Square. Basically, they were completely rubbish, and obviously everyone agreed because I topped the polls. And so over the past 4 years, and I didn't really know what I was letting myself in for when I became councillor, and I do have a day job. I'm a business consultant, and I advise companies on expanding their businesses into Africa. But I've just been appalled by the behaviour and the wasting of money, millions and millions still being wasted. Most recent, we've seen the barrel bikes. They're great. I've had a go on them, but the fact is, they cost us £13 million. And who are they aimed at? They're £9 an hour, plus £1 unlocking, something like that. So that's just one recent example. So I decided to set up this new group, Brighton and Hove Independents, and see if I could recruit some like-minded people. And so we have 9 candidates across the city. And I'll just tell you where they are, and then if nobody actually lives there, then I can just be quiet for the rest of the evening. So in Brunswick and Adelaide, we have Chris, and Chris has run the flower stand on Palmyra Square for the last 25 years. Brilliant. He's basically had enough, and on his leaflet he says something like, "I voted Green in the past, shame on them and shame on me for voting for them." And then in Goldsmith we have Linda, and she is CEO of a global IT company. In Hanover we have Bev, who's a lawyer turned painter and decorator. She's lived there for 28 years or something, she knows everybody. In Kent Town we have Alan, who owns and is the chef. Oh, I'm a bit nervous, it's kind of embarrassing. I'll calm down. In Kent Town we have Alan, and he is the owner of the the Bristol Bar on the seafront, if you've ever been there. In Patcham we have Paul Denyer, and he owns a small business that he's in the process of selling, so he's hoping to get elected, he'll have lots of time. In Queen's Park we have Adrian Hart, who's a documentary filmmaker. In Regency we have Gary Farmer, who runs a multi-million-pound language school and brings millions into the city in investment on money spent through students. And in Rottingdean we have moi, and another guy called Mark Irby, who's a PhD doctor in green energy, sustainability and biodiversity, and I really want him to get in because he knows more about those subjects than all the councillors and council officers put together. So there we go. Right, nobody put their hand up that they lived in any of those places, so shame.
Well, I don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, bye. Oh, about my faith? Well, I'd like to say thank you to anybody here in this room who volunteers. I've got a friend at St. Peter for anything. I've got a friend at St. Peter's who works really, really hard, and I know the amazing things they do over there. I grew up in a very small village, and my mum packed me and my 2 sisters off to church all the time. I'm really good at bell ringing. I'm really good at singing. And I really knew then that the church is a social cement, and now it's not that I haven't got faith. I go Christmas, Easter. I've got a friend who's a vicar, so she drags us along to things as well. So that's that.
Thank you. That's great. Rob. Good evening. I'm Robert Brown. I'm obviously with the Democrats, and I'm standing in the Kent Town ward. There's a couple of us standing in Kent Town ward. One of us is St James's Street. That's Dominique, and I'm standing because I live in Kent Town, because I live in Kent Town Village. Why I'm standing? Well, I'm actually a Nichiren Buddhist, a Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist. I have been a Buddhist and chanted Nam Myoho Renge Kyo since 1990, so since I was 19 years old. And I met this Buddhism, this faith, in London when I was living at the time. The organisation I'm a member of is called Soka Gakkai, and that roughly translates as value creation.